right, so Gary, why don't you start out by just telling us a little bit about yourself?
A little bit about myself. Well, I Googled authentic Muay Thai about 5 months ago. Well, actually it was about 7 months ago. And this is what I came up with. And so I found my way here. My background is that of a basketball player, coach. I was a scout in the NBA for 15 years. I worked for some of the biggest teams. Intimately knowledgeable about strength and conditioning, but I let myself go physically. Being on the road the whole time, it creeps in, and I finally decided to take some action last summer. I started back in Canada with a good friend of mine, Adam Higson, and Kyle Reagan. They're excellent Muay Thai athletes, trainers, fighters. They got me I had the seed planted, but they gave me the foundations, and I came here, I guess it was the end of September, and it's now what is it, the end of February, so 5 months.
And how much have you lost in that time?
I want to say I made the decision in total, to alter my lifestyle probably 2 years ago. All totaled, I probably lost about 100 pounds, I would say. Yeah.
That's me. That's a whole person.
Yeah, it's like a whole you, right? But I think if we're talking kilos, when I arrived here, I was 139, and I'm about in the mornings, let's say I'm 119 now.
And so that's 5 months, that difference.
5 months, yeah. And like I said, I worked with some of the top athletes and coaches and strength and conditioning people. I know what it took, but it was just more of being in an environment where it's a non-threatening place where I could just stick with it on a daily basis. And some days you do more than others, but if I average 5 times, even 6 times a week, food is plentiful, easy, and healthy. I stayed at the Royal Thai residence very close by. It's a very doable thing for me.
Did you come here with the intention of losing weight? Like that was your purpose?
I'm not focusing so much on the weight, but the body composition. I know for sure my lean body mass has improved. And that's, I'm not really worried so much about the weight. It's nice to look at the scale and see that there's a drop, but I know for a fact that I haven't been tested, but I'm positive I'm more muscular and just feeling better, moving.
Yeah, talk about the feeling a little bit, because I've been here for like almost 4 years, and Pinu never gets easier.
No.
He just makes it harder for you. So what has your both physical and mental experience been in your 5 months of trying to do it?
Sure. No, absolutely. Like I said, my background is that of a player and a coach, and a scout. So, I need that mental stimulation. I can't just go swimming or jogging for, not that I would even want to do that. I think he's a master teacher. There's great athletes and fighters who, not necessarily going to be great teachers. He is a great teacher, because what I like is his methodology is he just pushes you slightly out of your comfort zone, and he knows on any given day what that is. I can walk on my way over. That's kind of my warm-up. I walk over here in the hot sun, and I'm thinking I'm going to check that kick that he's going to sneak in, so for example in our pad work, and you know what, I might get to that third of the 4-minute rounds, that third round of it, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to make it, and then he just waits. I get back on my heels, boom, got the kick in, and he gets that little grin, and it's like, but that's the whole point. It's like any great coach or trainer. They know where your comfort zone is. They push you just a little bit past it, and that's where you learn. I believe that's where the sweet spot is, where you learn and you improve.
Why did you choose the word authentic when you were Googling for a place?
Well, I did kickboxing when I was young. Before I kind of went down the path of well, I went down the path of basketball player. I played college basketball in the U.S., major college basketball, and where it just took up all my time. But I enjoyed karate, kickboxing when I was young, and and I've always watched and been a fan, and over the years, and it's such a big field, and the popularity and the commercialism of it all. If I'm going to do something, I want to learn, be productive about it. I mean, I'm positive that in the 5 months I've been here, I've only added greatly to the knowledge that my foundation was laid with Adam Hickson and Kyle Reagan. But, Crew New and Crew Dan, and, there's a whole group here of tremendous trainers. And quite frankly, the other thing is that I really enjoy the style whereby the older students teach the younger ones. And so much of the teaching methodology isn't formal, where they line you up and you must do this, this, this. And it's more like, what are we doing today? And let's, how intense are we going to go? A little bit, and then just bring it down a bit, maintain it. And of course, with the fighters fighting, sorry, I'm sweating. Another reason I love this gym is because it's a sauna.
Peanut likes that too.
Yeah, well, it keeps you warm, right? But that it's been fascinating to me because it's a mental stimulation, the learning process, and it just really keeps you engaged. Where you don't, I don't feel like I'm just coming here to sweat and work hard. I'm coming here to learn. And it's fascinating to see, people of all different backgrounds. Yes, there's the base of the gym is raising Thai fighters, but there are dedicated foreign students who come here. Some of them have been coming here 8-10 years, I think, some in many cases. They come when they can, and I'm a convert. I'm going to come when I can. I have to go back to work soon, it looks like. So I've been blessed that I had this time to really devote to myself, and I'm sure my next employer, I hope they're happy with my job performance, because I'm going to be energized. So
you have a degree of perspicacity where you're always watching and learning from people around. Like, it's not like you come in and do your pad work and then you're out the door. Like, you'll stay and watch.
Is that what you've been scouting the scout?
Scout the scout.
Yeah,
Do you think that comes from scouting?
Yeah, I think so. Bird dog. That's been most of my adult profession, my vocation. But with that, you take what's good, what you glean, what you think can help you. And I listen, as a scout or a coach of another sport, just watching the interaction and the work and the methodology, and there is it's a science and an art, and so much of it is the feeling. Crew New, he will assess. It's magical, really. He sees what everybody's doing, and he picks up on what you need that specific day. We live in this era of all these metrics and scientific analysis, which is great. But boy, his feeling in his eyes and ears that he puts on you, it's top notch. I mean, I can't speak highly enough. I'm glad I came here, and it's been a cost-effective solution, and but some things you can't put a price on the knowledge that is certainly here.
I talk about training around injuries and through injuries and stuff like that fairly often, and people kind of pass me off a little bit because they say I'm crazy and like hardcore. But you're more or less a pretty normal dude. You also have dealt with some injuries and afflictions that you also train around and through. So totally. Can you talk a little bit about how you, as a athletically minded person, have dealt with that?
Sure. No, I mean, and that was been one of my, all ego aside, one of my excuses for many years. Oh, my Achilles rupture, my knee, I'm an old basketball player. You can make up all the excuses you want as to why you can't do something. But my workaround has been, okay, look, one of the basics of Muay Thai is they run every morning. It's just the way it's been, and it's a big part of the conditioning process. I can't really do that because of just my sheer body mass and the pre-existing injuries that I've had. I'm at the point now where I'm starting to get into it a little bit, but even so, I'm going slowly. So the easiest workaround was the first day, instead of skipping, you can bounce on tires, which is, you can do a lot with a tire.
Low impact.
You can drag, you can drag them up and down the street if you want.
Which we do.
Sylvie does really well. Tire's bigger than her. But the tires is, like, for example, it's like low tech is the best tech. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I've been around, the elite athletes in the NBA, and we spend so much money on all this wonderful technology. But you know what? An old tire, takes away the impact of landing that you would get from any sort of jumping, plyometric work, be that skipping or depth jumps or whatever agility drill you might be doing. And I'll tell you what, it really, it's hard to quantify it. You're just, I'll try though. You're just moving better, and there's so much you can do. That was a big. Initially, that was my first day in this gym. That's the first thing Krunu said. He says, "Can you skip?" I go, "Well, probably I shouldn't." He says, "Oh, go on the tire. It's better anyway." And he's right, Which is the beauty of it here is, it's not like set in stone concrete. It has. I mean, the fundamentals are there, but there's the flexibility within it to work around and do what you can do. Some guys come here. They're K1 fighters from Europe, let's say. There's not much clinching that goes on in K1, and he'll tell them, you need to clinch if you're going to fight. And they go, yeah, and they might try once or twice, and then they don't anymore, and then they go in the fight, and maybe they lose a decision because they didn't clinch. Yeah. Or they're just not to pick at that, but that's just one example that he'll give you everything, and it's up to you what you want to take from it. Yeah. I haven't done a lot of sparring. I've done some, mostly because there's not many people my size. But there've been some, and I've enjoyed it. Yeah. I wish I could do more, but again, at the same time, being mindful of pushing too much. Just getting past your comfort zone. I've found that 5 or 6 days a week has been great for me, just in terms of, like the saying goes, it's not how much you can train, it's how much you can recover from. That's a big mantra that you hear a lot of the strength coaches talk about, and it's true. I did a run around the Big Buddha on Sunday. I think it was like, I measured 8K, felt good, but I knew, today was going to be the feeling when my recovery, and it seems pretty good. So I'm telling myself, okay, today I can do a little bit more in the gym here today.
So we're definitely total devotees of Krunu, who's just amazing.
Oh yeah,
and awesome.
Absolutely.
And you're like in his house, so you see his family and his stories are great, but
his converted backyard.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about the kind of I don't know. They're not really side characters because they're totally in it, but supporting actors like Chicken Man and Kuden.
Oh, absolutely.
How do you describe Chicken Man?
Chicken Man. Chicken Man he's one of the more intriguing characters here. When I say character, I mean character, because he might be behind us right now. He may have snuck in here. We just didn't see him. He's like a ninja. Obviously an ex-fighter who's a trainer here at Crew, and he does a wonderful job teaching everybody. He will work just as easily with a young child as a big foreign tourist.
Yeah, he clinches them kind of the same. It's amazing.
Yeah, he does, and he's. I don't want to use the word sneaky, but he is extremely crafty.
Yes.
Yeah, like just like chicken, right? I mean, that just the name alone that tells you right there. But I think the story goes that he takes care of the chickens too.
Yeah, he has a chicken farm in the back.
He has a chicken farm and a chicken tattoo.
But his name is actually Guy Chon.
And it's Guy, which means chicken, which is perfect.
Yeah.
No, but like again, like they all have their strengths. Cruden, I mean, who's kind of like one of the patriarchs of Muay Thai in Pattaya, certainly, right? He knows everybody. Especially that really comes out when we go to Bangkok to one of the big stadiums, and it's like he knows everybody. And it's a team effort. It's an individual endeavor. I hesitate sometimes to call it a sport because it's more than a sport. The old thing, fighters aren't players, they're fighters, right? Which I love that expression. But it's a team. I see so many similarities here with elite teams. Club, it's like a tribal sort of scenario, I think maybe is a better way of putting it. And everybody has their part to play. And some come here more than others, and it's if you keep your eyes open and your mouth shut most of the time, you can learn a lot, because that's the other thing in the Thai style is they don't really, and especially I don't even know if it's just the language barrier, but you got to kind of come to them and ask questions, and they're happy to tell you if you ask. Yeah. But I find a lot of people just don't ask. It's like, I'm wearing his T-shirt here today.
Yeah, who's that?
The Elbow Hunter. Sometimes he's working with a private student in the other ring over there, and it's like, if you just go over and talk to the guy, and then you realize, oh my goodness, this guy was like a 2-time champion. He's like a legend. It's like Marvin Hagler working in your gym.
Yeah, hanging out.
Yeah, and you just go, okay, can you show me how to, some footwork?
Totally.
It's amazing, right? And it's like, but and he's such an unassuming guy, you would never know, right? Say like, all of the trainers, which I think that's the real special aspect. And again, it goes back to the non-threatening atmosphere here. There can be hard training here, and technically, I guess an accident could happen, but I can't think of the last time I saw blood in here. Other than maybe you kicking a bag.
There was a kid who was clinching who fell in a strange way as he was going down and split his eyebrow, and they just took him to get a couple of stitches. It was not a big deal, but it's totally the same, the attitude you have about the experience. Nobody did it on purpose. It wasn't.
Totally. And it's the control. They hit hard sometimes, but the control is you don't really see headgear. Maybe once I saw it, and that was just like a foreign guy who was here working with a kid. And it's because there was no need, quite frankly. The control is there, and everyone knows they're here to get better. It's not a fashion show or a show-off contest. It's real life. I mean, this is their job at a young age. Yeah. For a lot of them as well. So. Yeah. And the other. The Falang, the foreigners that are here are pretty good, I would say.
Yeah, they tend to be.
I've been pleasantly surprised, let's say. But maybe not surprised, because I did my research as a good scout. And I figured that this was... I didn't want an overly commercialized place. I wanted real instruction, real teaching, and that's what it's been. Happy. I'm not looking forward to I'm looking forward to starting a new gig, but I'm also not looking forward to leaving.
Yeah, I can feel that.
Yeah. Is that okay? Did we get on the right stuff?
Huh? Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah. So Pattaya has a reputation for, I think it's well earned in a lot of ways, but for the most part, it is not a complete representation of what Pattaya is. So one, what was your impression before coming of how you felt about coming to Pattaya to train, and then what has been your experience in being here?
Oh, okay. Wow. Well, my obviously, I've been living in Asia since, let's say, 2002. Mainly based in Hong Kong, working a lot in China. I lived in the Philippines for a few years.
This is because of basketball, right?
Yeah. I was an international scout for Lakers, New York Knicks, and their teams.
I love how you say that like it's not a big deal.
This is where I was based to travel. It was a great place to, and I would get around quite a bit. And you hear, there's certain notorious places around the world. You could say Rio de Janeiro or Vegas or Pattaya. It comes up often. But I'd been to Bangkok before several times, and Bangkok, you can get in trouble in Bangkok too. Maybe more so than here. But I tried not to prejudge it. But being here now, I can safely say that, wow, sure, wherever you go, and I think you made this point once before in one of our conversations, it's like being in New York City, you don't go to Times Square every day. Here has a couple of Times Squares that you can go to. Or you can just hang out, at a family house and train and see the families coming and going and just the beauty. You go running in the morning up in the hills and see elephants and there's just a normal life. It's sure there's craziness and busloads of tourists in certain areas, but quite frankly, you don't see that around here. I like hanging out over in Jomtin Beach anyway, which is not really Pattaya. It's kind of, it's a quiet sort of, I like the coffee shops kind of down there on the beach. And
it's not far.
No, it's nice. Like we're kind of halfway, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's funny though, you watch, obviously with the internet, you see all the crazy, it's still, I have to say, I enjoy sometimes hearing the stories of the craziness that goes on. And you can't deny that it does.
Right, but you read it instead of see it.
Yeah. Not part of it. But yeah.
And so the last thing is, in a lot of commercial type gyms that have a lot of Westerners, they'll kind of, oh, it's Kuden. We were just talking about you.
He talks about us all the time.
He was upset about the fights last night.
Yeah.
He lost money. He said he was going to bet 20 baht.
Yeah, two fighters.
So, you've been down to the bar where Kuden is the mastermind promoter.
He is, the master of ceremonies, referee.
So
a bar where you can actually fight.
Yeah, what's that like? It again is one of these things that sounds super seedy.
Oh.
It's right by Walking Street.
It's just on the outside of the infamous Walking Street. And I think he used to be the owner of the bar at one point, or something. I don't know all the.
Maybe not all of it. Yeah.
But one of the oldest rings in Pattaya.
Pinu grew up in it. Yeah.
Yeah. And they have, it's a show, but it's also, they have the house fighters who put on shows and take pictures with the tourists, which is great. But then there's also real fights for kids, for adults, where they go hard, and it's the real fights.
Yeah, so this actually ties into what I was saying before Kuden showed up, which is that in commercial gyms, they kind of separate out the Westerners and the fighters, because there's the real business of Muay Thai, which is the fighters, and then there's the kind of like sustainable business of bringing Westerners in to like pay the bills. But here, the main focus is the fighters, and like you're kind of thrown in for it being, you're not a fighter, but you train like a fighter.
Oh, thanks.
And
He's talking about meat, more knees.
Angie was turning sideways. ใช่ข้าวตัวใหญ่กว่าประมาณ5 โล 8 โลใช่ไหม70 กว่าก็นะ70 กว่าข้าวพวกนี่กลางติดหมดยก5ต่อยหมัดได้หน่อยใช่แต่ว่าทำไมไม่ต่อยทองนะ เปิดของหมดแรง
หยุดปุ๊บ
Thai.
Oh,
The,
look at
the opponent cheated. He kneed her after the bell.
Oh, dirty.
Yeah.
Watching everything.
ขึ้นไป10-1นะต่อ10-1
10 to 1 was the odds.
And then went on.
หมด
This is the thing.
close.
You get an impromptu lesson about gambling
Well,
before training.
gambling is such an important part of it. You win some, you lose some, right?
But at his bar, you get real fights, but you also get the show fights. It's like everything is integrated rather than being separated.
It's integrated is a good word, because that's exactly what it is. It's yeah, it's like people don't get hung up on labeling everything that it has to be this way or that way. I think they just and that's a big takeaway for me. It's like, you know, you go back to our countries, let's just say everywhere outside of Thailand, probably. It's like, well, you know, this is an illegal sweep, or this is a technique you can't use. But here it's like, well, you know, you just do it. Whatever works.
Do it faster.
Yeah, well, you know, I don't know if that's a great example to use, but the point I'm trying to make is that it's everything is, it's like this big soup. Or gumbo or something where it's just great stuff is all there and it all kind of works together. Like, yeah, there's some clown will go and be drunk and they will let him fight and get knocked out for his bar tab. But and then the very next fight would be two 12-year-olds
Right.
who
Just need experience.
Yeah. And you can't say they're unsupervised because they have exceptional, I mean, they got a 2-time champion refereeing.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's, it's fascinating.
He's not going to stop.
No. This is it.
This is it.
This is daily. This is what happens.
Well, thank you, Gary, for talking to us. And Chokti. Yeah?
Yeah.